contact. But it's hard to say. This is one of those ones, need more information?
Yeah, you do need more information.
But could it be inhuman? Absolutely. I mean, like I said at the beginning of the day, there's not one case out there that you go to that doesn't have that potential. They can start out innocent because these things are clever. They want to fool you. They want your pity.
Kind of what I'm
Because when you're feeling pity for what you think is there and oh, it's just a harmless thing in here, you're letting your guard down. And that's the first stage of breaking you down and bending your will. May not be the intent every single time, but that's usually the first step.
Just because of the weird activity she said happened at that house, and then she had said that nothing previous to this trip had happened in their home, but when they came back, that's when everything started. So that's just a little concerned because it is a child involved.
Right. It could be a human spirit can also follow you, and that's been known to happen too. And after a period of time, you know, sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes 2 years, it'll either lose interest, lose power, or just go away on its own. It may stay there, but that has happened. I've had reports of that. I've dealt with cases where people have brought a spirit home with them. It's attached to somebody, and it just, for whatever reason, identifies with that person. Maybe it's someone that they felt was similar to someone they knew in life, and it gives that spirit is comforted by the fact that that person's there, and it's now inhabiting the home that it followed them to. It could be anything. As far as being demonic or inhuman, it could be that too.
Just because
anything's
there's
possible.
a child involved, that's why I was concerned that it could be demonic.
How old is the daughter again? Okay, too young to be a poltergeist case, but that's also a possibility when you have a 8 or 9 year old girl, and don't know if I put that in there, but poltergeists, yeah, there, I do have them in there. Poltergeist activity, yeah.
She's also
That's
at
too
an age
young.
where she has friends.
Right. But it would just, you know, the way she described it just sounded really strange, and everything that happened in that house and just sounded off.
Right.
Now, will a human spirit eventually just wear down and just go away?
Sometimes.
Or the demonic will hang around just waiting for an opportunity.
It may hang around, it may just recede into the shadows and wait for another opportunity or a better opportunity. And it may go away. And it may go away because it wasn't interested. The victim wasn't supplying it with enough recognition. Or, I mean, there's a lot of different possibilities.
Now, when you have like an inhuman or demonic, of course, I don't want to compare things on TV, but from different things you hear, like if a family binds together and you've got this unconditional love, where I think this is what they're trying to do is there's 3 of them. There's the mother, father, and the little boy, and they're just trying to bind together and bring that love together to maybe get rid of this thing. Would that help?
Absolutely helps. Yeah, absolutely. Could it drive it out? It could. It could. And it definitely, if the family is fractured, that's definitely going to be fuel for whatever's there. I mean, it's looking to do that. It wants to ruin your life.
Well, the wife is just frantic.
Yeah, they've had enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now the father's now starting to see things and have things happen to him also.
Okay.
Yeah, because what was it, night before we went over there to reproduce the thing on the camera with the shadow.
Yeah.
He was sitting at sink doing dishes. He's got like a light on this side, like a dual light. All of a sudden, it just kind of like the sun, cloud went over the sun. All of a sudden, just like half the kitchen went dark.
And that can be his way of saying, "Hi, I'm here."
And that was the night before we arrived to try to redo that.
Right.
It was the growling. He got, I think, growling that in the same night.
And that was after we left too, though.
Yeah.
He got the growling, he reported the growling after we did the invest.
I would say, just how many times have you been there?
We only investigated
We've been
it once.
Once.
I believe Zappos' team has been there 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
They've also done the neighbor's house. There's a lot of things going on, well, according to the mediums, even the one we have and the one Zappos had, a lot of activity outside, like maybe a battlefield or whatever was going on outside.
What's been done there for a binding or a blessing or any?
In the house that we did, they brought in a priest and the medium They baptized the son, they blessed the house, they put salt, sea salt, they gave the son some sort of coin with a prayer. What else did they do? They
Yeah,
supposedly got rid of the 2 spirits that were there, but now there's something else back, and I think it's even darker, according to, but the little boy claims the little boy has been grabbed, tried to pull out of bed. Zaphis' team also said, "Why are you here?" And I want the son, they said the son's name. When the mother went into the son's room one night because he was screaming, he felt like his ankle was grabbed and being pulled out of bed. Awful smell. She said it was like rotten meat. And she said, "Where is that smell coming from?" And the little boy said, "From the man under my bed." And that's where the shadow came from, under the bed. And I went in, Steve and I were in there, and he left to change the tape and the camera, and I got this really creeped out feeling. And I took my flashlight and went around, and I didn't see anything until we played the video back. We had a camera in there, and on the video, the black shadow that came up.
From under the bed?
From under the bed.
So, did John Zaffis himself go, or was it his
It was
his
his
team?
team.
Okay.
So now we've got another, they sent another request to TAPS. TAPS forwarded to us. We haven't responded to them. We haven't responded to TAPS. We haven't done anything.
Yeah.
We don't know what to do.
How long ago was your last, or your initial investigation, I should say?
October.
October.
15th.
Okay.
And actually, if you want, this is the email I
The
just
boy
received from
has been sleeping with the parents ever since October. He will not go in his own room. He will not sleep in his bed.
Oh, I saw know what that's like.
The father actually saw, I guess it's moved into the parents' bedroom now. There's been an
'Cause it wants the
apparition, went under the bed. The dogs that they have growl at things. What's some of the other stuff?
Well, like you say, the light being blacked out, the growling.
Growling.
Why they were there was that they saw what shadow people at the school outside, or the medium saw people
Yeah,
outside.
So where is this? Is it down
It's a
by the library?
Trailer park across from the library, from the airport.
Oh, I know where that is, yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. If you can maybe forward this information to my email,
Sure.
get me a little bit of a little bit more background on this and what you did in October, and let me contact a few people.
Because what we did was, I think we contacted, Karen contacted you, and then we went to John Zapp, and they've been up, like, say, 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
So, well, I imagine probably now, if there's still things going on, they're frustrated, so they're probably looking out to see where else they can go with it.
It sounds like the next step is an actual exorcism in the house, and certainly.
Yeah, if it, say if something is in the area, so if it's actually taking 2 or 3 places, or would you have to do that to each house?
I really wouldn't be able to tell you.
Okay.
If it's occurring in this house, you would have to perform at least a binding to get it out and keep it out. And if it's occurring in other houses, then that's a separate issue, I think. But I can talk. Let me contact Keith Johnson for you.
If you want, you can take that, because I got that.
Can I?
saved on my
Thank you.
email.
I'll contact Keith, and I'll send an email to John too, and just ask him if he can give me some background, and maybe John himself might be available to come up.
Other than that, other than what
don't know
Jackie
what else to do.
sent, we have no idea, because they didn't share that, which is, that's their policy, which is fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we'll contact them and say, you know what, we're working on it, we're checking into some other things.
And the mother, the wife does keep in contact with me. I have to email her, but she'll tell me what happened, what went on.
Okay.
The neighbors are starting to be affected, but like I say, if there's something going on with the land, but I guess the medium of Zaphis' team did say that the little boy has some sort of chakra that kind of draws
Right.
these things in. So
So
we're
it might be
wondering
sensitive.
if it's gonna keep coming back. I mean,
It's possible. I'll contact Katie too, because Katie, she might even be able to drive down here in a short time to check that out. I think she's up in Manchester, New Hampshire. So.
now in the meantime, I think, because we did get the request again from TAPS, and of course, they're gonna be expecting some sort of something. I think we should probably email them and just let them know that
Definitely.
We got the request from TAPS and we're looking into other people coming.
I would absolutely do that because
Yeah.
they're looking for some
Right.
peace of mind.
Feel bad because it involves the
Yeah.
kid, and you know,
Yeah.
we went all the routes that we knew what to, you know, what to do, and it still
Yeah.
doesn't seem to be working.
That's definitely reason to take some action somehow. And obviously, you've done the right thing because it's definitely
We knew it was over our head.
it's over your head. It's over mine, for sure. And you know, there's people out there that can help. So
And yeah, and we was, you know, we didn't know if we would be allowed, like when they came up to observe, but they wouldn't even let you observe.
John's group,
Yeah.
yeah, some don't, but you know, I'd like to go, and there's people that I can contact and go up there and help them. So
Yeah, that's something I
Personally,
would like to.
I don't wanna go back to that house.
I would, for me, I would like to go.
well, let me see.
I try to ignore it this time. It's so natural, it's just my stomach talking, it's
Steve,
natural.
you can
for me.
You know,
smell
we
the
just wanna
pizza.
make this client the happiest, but, you know, is
Yeah.
feel.
Well, let
So I
me.
figure even if they move somewhere else, I get a feeling it would follow them,
It could.
you know.
It could. It very likely could. In the case of what happened with me, I was fortunate that when I left my house, I left it
Yeah.
empty and left it because I had to get out of there.
Something you not allowed in, or is that something that was there prior to you moving?
There was something there. My house has always had a haunting there. We've done training investigations there over the years, but something else came in one night after an investigation where we went to a potential vortex case, and someone was heavily provoking in the case. When I got home, I got upstairs into my bedroom at 5 in the morning. I laid down in the bed, and literally as soon as I laid down, there were 3 very loud and powerful knocks on the wall right above my bed. And it echoed into the stairwell on the other side. And I had to get up and look because I said, there's absolutely no way that there can't be somebody in the stairwell making that sound. I realized the rapping was right above me. It was loud, and that started everything. So, yeah, and that was 5 years ago, and finally 2 years ago, it got to the point where it was more than I could handle. I called John. John helped me. Keith helped me, and while things were calm after they provided help, I just packed everything up and moved to South Deerfield. My house was still for sale. I didn't get a buyer for it for another 5 months.
Now, they have anything taking place there that you're aware of, or anything like that, do you know of?
The
Bought the place?
people who bought it, no, I haven't had any. My neighbors up there said that they haven't heard them say anything is going on there. So hopefully that it was driven out. But what happened to me, you don't want it happening to you. You don't want it. It was bad.
I got a question about,
It's going to be in my book too, the new book. It's taken me. This is why it's taking so long. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but this is one reason why it's taken so long for this book to come out. Is getting beyond it enough to be able to write about it and let people know. Not many people know.
It's scary.
I mean, I told a couple people what was happening, and they had no idea. That's why I stopped doing investigations at my house when I realized how bad things had gotten. And when it got to the point where some of the things that were going on, I said, that's it. I didn't want anyone going in the house.
Now, you figure that's where it came from, was an investigation of something that followed you home?
I'm very confident of it because I've been in contact with the woman in Cranston, Rhode Island, and after we left, she never had any activity there at all, and she still hasn't.
So it followed you home.
Yeah, and this included lifting furniture in my living room, dropping it on the floor, and it was clear it was going on. You could feel the whole house shaking. Go downstairs, and the impressions in the carpet where the furniture was, it's now 5 feet away. Couches.
And you're an investigator and a researcher.
Right.
It makes it even kind of worse.
Right, and if you think that that's enough to people, oh, it must be awesome to have a haunting in your own house for continual research. I can tell you that it's not. It's not. Even the stuff that was innocuous that was going on there before that was unnerving. But this was more than that, and it was obviously more than a human spirit. So, and that included growling in my living room, coming home from work at night and opening the door and hearing it right in front of me. So.
Is this after you did your prayers and everything also?
Yep.
So it didn't matter if you did it?
I think I let my guard down by just being compromised that night.
So Jerry, let that be a lesson to you. Don't go to invest tired.
Yeah.
You were tired last time.
Yeah.
But this was also, again, this was someone in another portion of the house who was aggressively provoking. Aggressively provoking. If I'd known that, I would have.
So it wouldn't matter
no,
if
I
someone
wouldn't.
else was provoking and attached to you because you
Yep.
were vulnerable.
Yep.
Now, you would almost just think that would go after the person that was kind of
It chose the easiest target, and that probably just at that point was me. So, lesson learned, and experience that I'm passing on to people in the book, because I want people to be aware that this stuff, people think, well, you know what, it's not what they say it is. It's not that bad. It can't do the things people claim. I'm telling you right now, it's real, and you don't want to mess with it.
Because everything, any show you see on paranormal, I don't care what it is, they're all sitting there, trying to provoke.
Oh, yeah.
Some,
They
sitting
do.
there and swear and all that, which.
It's foolish.
Yeah.
It's foolish. Why would you take that chance of having this stuff happen to you?
Right. You either got to help somebody else, you don't want to bring it back with you.
Right. Or challenging it and having it confront you right then and there.
Right.
Like our friend Matt did in the attic in Leominster. Provoking, got it right on camera. He's up there calling it a chicken, and all of a sudden, he got face planted right on the ground, right on camera.
Changes.
Had enough of him, and it said, hey, shut up or you face.
Wow.
So yeah, I will definitely help you with this at the best of my abilities. I'll do everything I can for you.
Yeah, we don't know what else to do.
You're doing the right thing right now. So.
And we told them what we were doing. They seemed very happy, but at the same time, I imagine if I was sitting through this and nothing's being done, if I have to allow get irritated, I feel kind of helpless, irritated.
Which I'm sure they do, and they're at wit's end, I'm sure, at this point.
We're communicating back and forth by email, so it's not like we left them, until you're high and dry. We're talking back and forth. And
I would acknowledge them, with this latest request, and just let them know, we're distressed at the fact that you're continuing to experience this at this point, and that we want you to know that we're doing everything we can right now to secure additional, more qualified help. And that's exactly what it is, more qualified help, because we're qualified as paranormal investigators to go to a certain extent.
Right.
We're certainly not qualified to go above our scope of knowledge. And there are people out there that have that greater scope of knowledge, and you're doing that by going,
how much of an involvement is it to be more aware or specializing in this?
There's no certification for it. There's nothing.
There's a certain, just keep reading up, research.
If I decide today from this point forward that I'm going to specialize and focus my attention on demonology only, then I can call myself a demonologist.